I think everybody understands, but it is such an honor to be recognized as a market center rookie of the year. Like, that's huge. 250 agents. Last year we brought in 56 agents. The year before that was like 79 agents. You actually came in 2024. Mm-hmm. So you came in with 79 new agents. To be recognized out of 79 new agents is huge. To do some quick math, there's 62 or 64 KW market centers in the Southeast region. Some of them recruit upwards of 200 new people a year coming through their doors, right? Some of them recruit 20 or 30. We probably average out about 100 a year per market center. Do the math on that. 62 times 100. 6,000 plus agents that came in that same time frame. And to be named Rookie of the Year out of all of that is absolutely massive. So congratulations, first and foremost, man. I know we already did that part, and we had a, like, did y'all watch that video we recorded? I sat and watched it over and over.
I watched it both
the level times of excitement, and we're just watching him like,
I know,
like his wife, it was like,
I kept slapping her.
It was cool. That was wild. She's probably like, what are you doing? But look, we're going to dive in, man, and we're going to ask some questions. We got about 30 minutes, and I hope that we can, take it a few levels deep and give some folks some insight to what you do and how you do it. And then hopefully we have a few minutes for questions afterward. Is that cool? All right, so first question, started in 2024, October. Let's talk about your first 90 days. What were you doing every single day your first 90 days? Because that's really where that's the on-ramp to the business.
My first 90 days wasn't your traditional 90 days just because I was working another job. I was working a full-time job at Northside. So it was really hard for me to, just focus 100% on real estate. But I think the key for me was that I was letting people know prior to me becoming an agent that, hey, I'm about to get my license, and that's kind of how I got started on the first 90 days.
So inside your organization where you were working, you were already lead generating before you even
way before
signed the license.
Way before.
What were you saying to these people?
Well, so I had friends, for instance, like my first client was one of my best friends. So I already knew that he was wanting to sell, he was wanting to buy. So that was the first one that, that the day that I passed my test, that I actually went to his house and brought him a broker agreement.
Okay.
Because I didn't even have an email, so I just went and we did a wet sign, and it was awesome. But yeah, so we got him up and going. So that was one of them that I did, but I did all my friends, whoever that I could kind of look into and kind of see who was renting, who has been living in their house for a while. I didn't attack, but I spoke to my closest friends first. That's kind of what I started doing prior.
It's okay to use the word attacked.
Yeah, we dogs, but
and so I'll tell you all a personal story here. If you're on my Facebook page, you see that we're moving some dirt and we're building a house in Lula. And that transaction actually came through Johnathan because he had the listing across the street, and those two guys are related. He said, hey, the other guy wants to sell. One thing led to another. Next thing you know, we're under contract for this piece of land. Attacked is a good word, but in a good way. Mm-hmm. Relentless. Like what I experienced with this individual as an agent trying to get me to buy this piece of land, and not just like, hey, I want you to buy it, but fighting for me because it was actually a very popular piece of land. And
it was off the market too.
Yeah, and he reached out to multiple agents and multiple people wanted it. And I was like, hurried up, made an offer. And he's like, yeah, his buddy wants to do this. I'm like, well, I'll give him $5,000 more. He's like, all right. So then his buddy came up $5,000, and so we go through this whole thing. But in the end, he's like, Johnathan pretty much didn't represent me, but represented my interests and was like, all right, man, I'm going to try. I'm going to do this. And I don't know how he did it. I have no clue. I don't even want to know. However, super communicative, constantly coming back and saying, okay, I'm doing this, man. I'm working on this for you. I'm trying, I'm pushing. Can you do this? And we got it done, right? In a situation where the seller said, I'm just going to sell it to my friend. Like the seller just wanted his cash. He didn't care who really got it. So he's going to give it to his buddy. Again, no clue what happened here and how we got it. Very glad we did. But what I saw was an absolute tenacity and just getting after it. Like not just saying, oh, well, hey man, sorry, he's just gonna give it to somebody else, right? And when we think about our industry, how often does an offer come in that's not maybe exactly what somebody wants, or we send an offer and the response comes back and we just kind of lay down and we just take it. And what I saw there was, this is not an individual that's going to lay down and take anything. If he says he's going to make it happen, he's going to figure out a way to make it happen. And I thought that was really cool.
Thanks,
yeah,
man.
that was really cool. So that's why, like you said, attacked, and then you corrected yourself, and I'm like, no, I think that's a good word.
Well, I just
Yeah.
PG.
Yeah, I think that's a good word. So look, most new agents, and who here has been a new agent? It's a trick question, right? We've all been new agents. Most new agents get ready to get ready to get ready. Like I can ask Teresa and Dylan, after years of coaching and years in leadership, most agents get ready to get ready to get ready. The details have to be there. Everything's got to be perfect. You got to get the logo, got to get the cards, got to get the do and all these things. I don't think we had that with you. So what did you refuse to do when you started? What did you refuse to spend time on in the last, you really only been in business for what, 16 months? 18 months?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, roughly about that.
So what do you refuse to spend time on?
Just stuff that's not going to produce anything for me, especially like my time is valuable. So obviously I don't want to waste my time on stuff that it's not going to make me a better person or be able to, provide more knowledge or more things for my clients. So, I don't waste a lot of time on the silly stuff of, let me make sure that, my logo and this and that and the other is, I just don't waste my time on those little things. I focus more on, what's important, talking to people. That's the biggest thing. Just really just talking to people. That's why I don't want to be mean, but I just don't have the time. I wish I could come to all the meetings every Wednesday. But it's hard for me, because my time is, I'm always running around.
Yeah.
So and I know it sounds bad, but that's just, I just refuse to, be in areas that's not allowing me to produce as much,
Sure. Well, it sounds like you have a laser focus on your time and prioritization. So we've heard people say like time management, right? And I went to a thing recently in Austin where the lady said, there's only one individual in this universe that can manage time, and we're not him, right? And she said, the rest of us can only prioritize. There's only one entity that can actually truly manage time. So what I'm hearing is a prioritization of time, is looking at your calendar, looking at the events and the things that you've got going on. And I have seen you here. I have seen you pick and choose and say, hey, I want to hear about that. I'm gonna go do that.
For sure.
Right. Look, as a team leader, full disclosure, what I love, if everyone blindly just showed up every Wednesday and didn't have a clue what was happening here, they just love being here. With my man Gary Vee, hell yeah. Right? Like I would love that. That would be, I told Matthew, I said, I'd love to push you to get a bigger building because we got so many people coming. And when somebody comes up and like, Alan came to me this morning and goes, hey man, I'm not gonna be there today because of this and this. I'm like, whoa, you don't have to apologize. You guys are here to make money, right? And if a buyer or a seller or an appointment or something is happening, go do that. We can talk about this later. Like that is always your priority, right? Now, I hope this doesn't mean that there's gonna be like 2.5 of you here next week. But the reality is like, we do come to things like this to grow and to learn and to be together and all that. And also I'm hearing a high prioritization of time.
I think the biggest thing that I refuse to do is just to give up. That's really what it boils down to. Like honest, I know I was switching the subject, but I think that's really what it boils down to, just not giving up. So for instance, if every transaction is something always happens, and like I always find a way to make it work somehow, some way. So that's another one, that refusal.
You're comfortable saying no. Because you have to be.
Right.
We have to be, as business owners. When we say yes to everything, what are we doing? We're saying no to something else.
Correct.
And if that something else is your growth and your business and your development, that can be problematic. And that's not going to help you get to that highest level that you want to be a part of, right? Let's talk about, where did the majority of your business come from in the last 18 months?
Just people I know, social media, realistically, just everybody that I know. I know a lot of people.
So how are you connecting to a lot of people?
So when I first kind of started, to go back to question number one, which I should have said that, when I did have time, like at work, I would start from all my contacts on letter A. So I just started reaching out, just talking to people, letting people know what I was doing. Because I'm pretty advanced and, very active on social media. It's like, oh yeah, man, I know you're an agent, I've been seeing you, da, 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 da. And then that's kind of how the conversation kind of gets started. And it's, you kind of get to know the person. So it's mostly based off of that. So just people that I know is where I started getting it from, especially as a new agent, because, you're not going to get referrals. You're not going to get any of that. So most of the business comes from everybody that I know. Thankfully, I was blessed enough that I worked at Northeast Georgia. I worked at Northside. I was in the medical field for 15 years. So like I knew a lot of people, and I'm very active here in Gainesville as well.
So you're having conversations, then they're saying, well, I've already seen on social media that you're an agent, right? We're going to get to social media in a second, but what does that conversation look like when you say, well, I'm just reaching out to people that I know? I know a lot of people. We all know more people than we think we know.
Most
and a
definitely.
lot more people know us than we think that know us,
Most
right?
definitely.
So what does that contact look like? What does that conversation look like?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is that I never wanted to come across as a salesman. I didn't want to come across like, oh, I don't really care how you're doing. I just want to sell your house. I never wanted to come across to that. I always wanted to be very genuine. So, for me, I always wanted to keep first the conversation like I genuinely care to know how you've been or how you're doing, and then let the conversation lead to that point. I always led, every client that I've worked with led to them to tell me what they're wanting to do. Like, oh, by the way, I know you're killing it in real estate. Like, I've always wanted to buy a house. Like, is it true this, and that's when you have them. That's when you have that. It's not me coming up to like, are you thinking about buying or selling? I have never asked that question in my life. Instead, I did that for a cop yesterday. Let's go. That's a funny story.
Were you being pulled over?
I was. That's a funny story, but I'll tell you all that later. But yeah, it's all about, getting your name out. But anyways, but that's what I did. I was just always so genuine. I was like, how's your mom? Like for instance, if I had a friend that just had a baby and I know they just had a baby, it's like, oh, how's the baby doing? Like I actually took the time to actually have a normal conversation with someone. And then because you can kind of tell as well as a person, like if they're not interested, they're not interested, but 9 out of 10, there's a lot of people that are interested. They just don't, you don't know how to approach them. And some people are more guarded. They have more of a wall than others. So that's really what I did differently. It's just, talking to them.
Okay, so that was in the beginning. What's it look like now? You're 18 months in. You've sold over 8 million, almost 9 million or whatever last year. Now it's a whole new year, but you've already had all these conversations and gotten this business. So what's it look like now? Is it the same
It's
thing?
a little different now. Now I'm getting referrals. I get a lot of referrals now from previous clients. Because of, I close on certain transaction. They saw it on their Facebook, so they, see it and they're like, oh yeah, let me contact Johnathan because he closed on so-and-so. So sometimes it's not even a referral. It's just
They're seeing it and they're calling you.
They're calling me. So like right now I'm working with someone that I don't even know who they are, and they just saw a post that somebody did and it came from there. So right now it's a lot different at the beginning. Like now it's a little bit more consistent, I would say.
So are you pursuing past clients?
I am.
And staying like,
Yeah.
Are you asking for referrals, or how are you?
I'm not asking for
having
referrals.
that conversation?
What I do is the system that my system right now is a little all over the place. I'm trying to get my life together. I'm working on that because I
Aren't
was
we
not
all?
expecting this to be the way it is right now.
Yeah.
So I am working on having a coordinator. I am working on having all that stuff nice and organized. But what I do with past clients is I have once a week, I try to go back to previous clients and just follow up with them, just see how they're doing, just have a normal conversation with them, even if it's a text or a call. As of late, I've been trying to do more of a call just because I feel like that's more genuine than just like a text like, hey, what's up, bro? I just feel like it's just better to just to give them a call, like I literally I called one of my previous clients last week and we had a great conversation, 20 minutes, and I ended up getting a client from that just because I called.
So, okay.
How did that work?
This sounds too simple. It sounds too easy.
Well, that's the thing is that, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it, but it kind of is. You just have to,
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of what people ask me all the time, like, how do you do it? Or, you know, what is the magic to it? It's not necessarily a magic. It's more of just be genuine, you know, just show people that you actually care. You know, I got into this business not because of the money, because I genuinely care to help people. That's why I was in the medical field for 15 years. I wasn't in the medical field for the money. That money was crap. You know, I did it because I genuinely cared.
Yeah.
My history, my background, you know, it comes more than that. So when I speak to a client, you know, they already know this guy is going to fight for me. This guy genuinely cares for me. He's going to make sure I can get the best deal. He's going to make sure that I find a house that's not going to break down in 2 months just to get the closing in. So yeah, I mean, that's really what it boils down to. It's just actually listening to them. You know, listen to what they have to say.
So walk me through a conversation. I'm a past client. Phone rings. It's call Cortes calling.
Facts.
Right?
Yes.
Pick it up.
What up, my guy? What's up, my dude?
What's going on, man? How's it going, man?
Good, man. How you been?
Good. You know,
Good, man. How's
busy.
the wife?
Kids
Still
you know.
driving you crazy?
Yeah, daily.
Daily?
It's really the kids.
Yeah, I know.
With
They're
their multiple
zoo animals. I know,
multiple
man.
sports at the same time.
I know,
Yeah.
man. It's hard, man. It's hard. But other than that, you know, how's the house, man? How's the house coming
Oh, we
along?
love it, man.
Do you?
Yeah,
That's
the kids
awesome,
love
man.
it. Yeah.
The extra bedroom was working out better now?
It really was. Yeah, actually, it's perfect. Yeah.
How about that backyard, though?
Yeah.
That free fence I got you. You liking that free fence?
I love that free fence. You know,
my
my
man.
dog Max is out there. He can't get away. Little booger tried to get
Yeah,
away.
that's why we got the free
Yeah.
fence. You know, something like that.
Yeah,
You know, just
yeah.
it's a normal, easy conversation, man. Just you know, I make them. So my situation is I bring up key points about the fence,
About the transaction.
about the transaction,
Yeah.
to remember that
The
client,
good things you did.
my man.
Yeah.
It's all about that. It's all
So-
about consistency. In this business, it's all about consistency. If
It
you-
doesn't sound like you struggle with this, but, and honestly, I'm going to raise my hand first before I ask this question to give you permission, and maybe I'm weird, but I have struggled in the past to call people because I was afraid of what they would say. Because I did have experiences where people were like, well, AC broke 30 days into it, cost me $8,000. And then I'm like, put that phone down, click the off button, and keep driving.
So I got
It
that
doesn't
text.
sound like you have that fear.
No, I got that text yesterday.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
I dealt with that situation.
Yeah.
That same AC went out,
Yeah.
costing him $12,000. He was very short and cut and dry on the text message.
Mm.
So what did I do? I called him, and I was like, "Dude, I am so sorry that happened, man. Like, I
Mm.
don't know how that happened, but unfortunately, these things do happen. Like, we try to do the inspections, we try to do everything the right way, but things are not meant to last forever." But I kept telling him, "But remember, you got an amazing house. You know, you got this, we got that deal, we got this done." So what I did was, here's some of my AC guys that I work close with. Here's their information. Let me know, and I'll try to do as much as I can to help you. They'll cut you a deal. They'll do whatever we. So I try to make them feel a little better. Like,
Yeah.
like, hey, I know that sucks because it does,
Yeah.
but here's some connections that just to make his life a little easier instead of having to Google and do the search for him. Like, I'll do the search for you. I already have it for you.
So you're not running from the hard conversation.
Hell no.
Because it's uncomfortable, right? Like I said, I've been there, and you're like, oh man, and sometimes they unload on you, right?
Right.
Sometimes they're like, they'll tell you all the problems, and you're like, oh God.
I hear it all the time.
but
Yeah, that's
did you have something to add, Rod?
I've noticed though, I'm the same way. I try to embrace the hard conversation because a lot of times when people detect that you're in retreat mode and you're backing up, they relate that you're part of the problem.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Instead of being part of the problem. So, what is a real estate agent anyway?
Problem solvers.
They're a problem solver.
Correct.
That's the reason you call that dude and say, "Look, man,
And
next
counselors.
time something happens, call me first.
Yeah, I've got the
Have me
connections.
on speed dial.
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. And that's
Why
why
do you
I
think
feel like
I'm
that's why he
being-
contacted me. I think he was more like, I don't think he was attacking me. I think it was
Yeah,
just like,
he just
He
wanted to
needed
know
help.
what to do.
yeah, he was just like, dude, this sucks, but I don't know what to do. You know, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm, and I can only imagine his wife, rough, and I'm like, bro, and I try to make it like a funny thing, like, I'm surprised you're still alive, that, you
Yeah.
haven't been murdered by your wife. Like she
He
was,
must know them really well.
yeah.
Yeah.
I try to have a really good,
Yeah.
relationship with all my clients. I'm
Never retreat.
Yeah.
Never
No. Retreating is, I think you're right.
mode.
It's an admission of guilt. It's an
Right.
admission of guilt. Like,
But I
you're,
will
like
say-
you're part of the problem.
I will say that some people are just miserable people at the same time.
Oh yeah, there
And and like I try to like follow up with them. Like I followed up with one the other day, and she didn't respond to my text messages. I called her, she didn't respond. I left her a voicemail, nothing, and that's okay. I moved on, and I said okay. I did my due diligence of following up with her, and she just
Sure. Some people are going to be mad at us, and there's nothing we can do about it. But the majority, I think you guys are right. If we go in and we become part of the solution, even if they've already acted without us first, and we're like, gosh, why'd you call that guy? Could have saved you $3,000. But next time they know we're the solution, call us first.
Yeah. Even
Anything
if you
home
only
related.
Save that guy $500. He's going to remember that forever.
Huge.
correct.
Yeah.
Which I'm actually going to call him like as I leave here just to see how he's doing.
Yeah. And I mean, in most guys that we fool with, if you're like me, you got a guy on speed dial from
Right.
AC. And if I call him and say, look, dude, you need to do this guy right,
Hmm.
because you're going to get 10 more deals from me this year.
Right.
Right. That's
You know?
exactly.
Well, that's the power of a powerful vendor list. That's why
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
building what we're building.
Exactly.
So, well, look, let's switch gears because we only got about 7 minutes left, 8 minutes. I want to talk about social media because it sounds to me like social media does the heavy lifting. You don't have to call. And early on, 13 years ago, the script bold teaches everybody. This is Adrian. I just got my license. Who do you know that needs to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? That script made my skin crawl from the moment I heard it 13 years ago, and I was like, nope,
Click.
that is not who I am. Anybody else was taught that like sometime in their past?
When I first got here.
Hated it. And I've heard recently somebody talk about let social media do the heavy lifting so that you don't have to bring it up. You just have to connect because they always bring it up. So what is your system or your theory around it? Because I mean, I'm connected to you on social media. I see you on TikTok. I see you on Instagram. I see you on Facebook. Gary Vee talked to us. He said we should be on 7 different platforms. He's talking about Substack and LinkedIn and all these other things.
LinkedIn is huge.
But what is your theory? What is your system around posting?
Consistency, being consistent, and being on everything. So TikTok, all the socials, all the main socials. I just started YouTube, so I've been doing YouTube.
You do the shorts?
Do the shorts
or the
and
long?
Do
Okay.
both. So like I have my channel. We're growing. I got 25 subscribers. Let's go.
Okay.
We slowly but
Listen,
surely.
you don't need, I heard Gary Vee and other people say this before too, you don't need 50,000. We're in a couple weeks, we have Sarah coming in to talk about her YouTube. I think she's got 10 or 12,000 subscribers that she built over 5 years. And again, saw her name on the MREA list at the regional awards for hitting another $1 million year. You know what I mean? She doesn't have 50,000. She doesn't have 100,000.
No.
Yeah.
So it's all, and I guess when it comes to the social media, I try to be a little different. So I don't want it to just be just real estate, because people don't want to just see that. You have to understand that social media is an entertainment for the people, whenever they're waiting in the waiting room or they're in the bathroom or whatever, they want to see different stuff. They want to keep people entertained. So I try to do a little bit of different stuff. I add some family stuff. I'll add some hobbies of mine. I'll add real estate. But 75% is real estate. But I try to create it in a creative way to make it fun, funny, joke around, just be a little bit more different than just, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. You know who to call. Like I try to make it more as a, whatever trend that's happening, I'll flip it into a real estate trend. Or if it's a family thing, I'll stick specifically to family. I don't want to just do something it's kind of, because not everybody wants to buy and sell. That's that I follow. But if you follow these trends and you follow these algorithms that is on the internet, especially if your stuff is not private. Because like, for instance, like if I post a video, it gets anywhere between, if it's a slow video, like it didn't hit, let's say it gets about 5,000 views. That's 5,000 eyeballs that's seeing my stuff. You got to think about it like that. When my video hits, I'm getting like 50,000, you know, and that is huge in marketing because that's not costing me a dime. You know what I mean? Except for like ads and stuff.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, that's huge. Why?
Yeah.
Because like you get more shares, you get more of this, you get more algorithm. So the more algorithm you're building, the more you're going to pop up to these people, especially if they are interested in real estate. You know, they're going to like, it's just like just now, somebody says somebody's name and they popped up on your Facebook. Have you ever noticed that?
I was
Like
we were
you'll,
talking about Gary V. I opened Facebook and
It's Gary V?
like that happens.
Yeah.
Like it's normal. Like if you're, you know, looking for, you know, rims or tires or something, tires and rims are going to pop up somewhere on social media. So that's about that algorithm. It's about being consistent on that
It'll
social
start
media.
to identify it. It'll start to pull people into your world.
Into your world, yeah.
And you know, it's funny. It's like, I think Gary Vee talked about this at the family reunion. He said, this is the only time in history when you can market to the masses and not spend a dime. In the last 100 years of advertising, newspapers, radio, TV, buses, park benches. And he made fun of park benches. You guys, he's like, your industry loves park benches. Like, not anymore, but they used to. But it used to be that everything cost money. And now he said, you have all of this free stuff you can do, and most of y'all aren't doing it, right? And then here's the other thing too. You said you'll get 5,000 or 50,000. A lot of times people will post, and I'm guilty of this too, where I'll see like 350 views, and I'll be like, man, that's lame, like 350 views, right? Okay, if I put 350 people in an auditorium and told you to come out and speak to them, most of y'all would pass out before you said the first word because you'd be so scared to speak in front of 350 people.
Correct.
But that's 350 people that you impacted that day.
Exactly.
Right? So if you get to a point where it's 1,000 or 1,500 or 2,000, that's big because most of them are seeing you in your area because they're connected to you somehow. Right? I think that's awesome.
So another thing about social media is that like when you do get those 350 views, a lot of entrepreneurs and social media creators, they'll get discouraged because of those numbers. And then they stop doing social media because they're like, dude, nobody likes my stuff. You know, like there's videos that I get lots of likes and there's a lot of videos I get too, you know? And I'm just like, well, that's lame. That sucks. I guess nobody liked that video, but it's okay because not everybody's going to like it, and that's fine. Just stay consistent with it. And then you'll see that those views will go up. You just have to stay consistent with it because it pushes, it's like your profile pushes it out there for the world to see because of the reactions, the whatever it may be. You know, that's kind of what I've been doing. Like whenever if you go back to like the beginning of my real estate career, my videos were doo-doo, you know? And I'm like, no wonder I only got 10 views, you know? And I'm not saying my stuff is just great quality, but it's, you know, it's we've improved some.
Well, but it's you. And what I've noticed is everything is, there's nothing in that I see that isn't true to who you are.
Right.
So the person I meet in the hallway here is the person I see on, and not everybody on Facebook has that experience because they're not connected to you where they see you every now and then in person. But that's who you are. Correct. I know you're into your shoes. I know. I just know. I know you probably have more shoes. Your shoes probably cost more than my car. The amount that you have, and but that's okay because that's you. And you get genuinely excited when a new pair shows up.
Facts.
Yeah, and I see it, and I'm like, well, look, there are people out there who are like that. My 14-year-old's like that. If I let him, he'd put me in the poorhouse because he wants all the shoes, and we have to calm that down. But when he's of, house buying age, he would connect with that and be like, man, me and this dude are on that same level, right? He's not connecting with me, right? He's connecting with that because you guys are on the same. So I think authenticity plays a big part in it with you. And then one last question, and we're going to get to our sponsor. Do you engage people on social media?
I do.
How do you engage people? Like, if somebody comments or likes something, do you do anything with that?
I do. So I don't just like it. I actually like, for instance, like the post of the video. You know, it got tons of comments. So what I did was I went one by one and I thanked everyone. You know, just because of that, just to acknowledge that I acknowledge you acknowledging me, and it also brings more algorithm by doing that. So the more, like for instance, especially a post, the more interactions a post has, the more exposure it's going to get. So if I don't respond to a comment, it's like it kind of gets, it dies down. The algorithm starts kind of coming down. So I try to stay consistent on responding everything. It could be, you know, even hate comments, you know, I'll respond to that too.
Do you
know?
message people ever, or do you just respond in the comments section?
I respond to the comment section. And now if it has to do something with real estate, obviously I'm not going to blast their information, you know, on a public server, but I will DM them or something. So like if somebody, you know, I've had people write and say, yeah, I do actually want to sell my house. You know, I'm like, I'll write on there and say, okay, I'll DM you. And then I'll private message that person. And then we'll get the ball rolling.
Okay.
Then we'll get it sold. You know the vibes.
You know the vibes. All right, so look, let's take 2 minutes. Does anybody have any questions, comments?
So, have you noticed on your posting of your videos and stuff, the timing that you post them, you get different?
Yeah, so
amounts
so
of
11 o'clock to 1 o'clock, you should get, you know, a good algorithm.
In the
Lunchtime,
In the morning?
morning, 10 a.m.
Okay.
If you post something from 8 to 9, you're gonna get crickets. It's just true. I watched a lot of YouTube videos about social media.
Yeah,
And
there's certain times you post each day.
Right.
So you should post at least 3 times a day.
I try to grow your platform. Like if you're wanting to be, you know, into that whole social media creator type vibe, yeah, 3 videos is recommended because 1 will hit, the other 2 will be eh. The only reason why I don't do the 3 videos a day is just because I don't want to get people too tired of me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like I have friends, for instance, that, you know, they'll check their social media like once a day, right? And then we have people like us that we're constantly checking it, constantly reviewing it.
Stalking.
So I don't want people to get too tired of me, you know, of me, you know, especially if it's real estate. Like I just don't want to push it too hard.
Yeah.
That's me. Now everybody can do whatever they want to do, but me personally, I like to be more into that genuine stage instead of forcing it too much. Because if I don't want to seem like, it goes back into that whole salesman thingy. Like I don't want to seem like I'm trying to sell you an old Buick, you know.
And that's the way we post a lot. When we do post like videos and stuff, they'll have absolutely nothing to do with real estate. You know, like we may post a video like when we're, hey, come check out this coffee shop. You know, it's a great coffee shop. Or talk about our shoes. My wife loves her shoes. She's just like you. She's a shoe fanatic.
Now stories is different.
I was gonna
Stories
say,
would
'cause-
stay
I was
consistent.
gonna say, because I see a lot of
Yeah,
stories
yeah,
out
yeah,
there.
stories
That's why I was
all
like,
day,
hold,
baby.
have to go
I was like, hold on.
All day long, and I get a ton of reactions on stories. You know, people like the cop
yeah.
video that I did
Yeah.
yesterday. That thing was a hit. But I stay consistent. Yeah, I'll do 10 videos. I let people know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So it's like
You're
it's like
documenting all day.
I am. I'm documenting
Yeah,
all
I mean,
day.
you have to.
Right,
If you want
because-
to stay on top of it,
Correct.
stay at the top
Because
of
you
it.
want to
Act
stay
really
on the
like you're
top of their
talking about it.
mind. It's all about keeping people in the state of their mind, even though because people forget. People are very, oh damn, I forgot you're an agent, bro.
Yeah.
I was gonna call you, man. You know how many times I've been told that, and I'm like, dude, you literally liked my post yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, and it talked about being an agent.
They're
you
like
know?
goldfish.
Yeah, they are. So as long as the more consistent you stay on social media, that's why the 3 videos is so important. Is just keeping, you know, the people in their minds, the consistency on their minds, obviously. But it's just like I said,
People that are posting 1 time a day are going to get left behind.
Well,
That's a fact.
The
Or once
stories,
a week.
the stories are at the top, and I don't post a lot in stories, but I do look at them, and I thumb through them. I think a lot of us do because they're
Oh,
right
for
at
sure.
the top,
Everybody.
and I'll go 4, 5, 6 deep, and then I'll start to scroll down, and every time you log in, it's a different set of stories,
Have you
right?
ever wondered though why? Have you ever noticed that there's 1 or 2 people in the stories that's always towards the front of that? You know why that is?
because they post all the time.
Because they're doing the most of it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, I love it.
And
Well,
that's
listen,
the
we're-
reason when you pull up somebody, when somebody pulls your Facebook up and everything, and it goes to stories and everything, and they pull their Facebook, you want to be that first one on the
Yeah.
row right there.
Yeah.
And I will say this though, this is like just an advice. Y'all can take it or leave it, whatever y'all want to do. But my biggest suggestion when it comes to social media is just be yourself.
Yeah.
Like be genuine. If you're into, scarves and eating cookies with coffee, whatever you like to do that. Represent that. Show your true colors. Everybody has to be genuine. Everybody has to be their own style, their own vibe. If you into horses and you like, doing the whole cowboy thing, rock it, show it, because that's the type of clients you guys want. You want people that you can interact with, kind of like what you were saying about the whole shoe thing. I have a lot of my clients that are also shoe fanatics, so we click so well because we have things in common. I try to show things that I like, so therefore we can have an established relationship. It just makes it so much easier because us as realtors, problem solvers, they got to feel comfortable to come to us to be able to communicate and be honest and just be like, that house is a dump. I don't want it. Or they can sugarcoat it because they don't feel comfortable with you. And it just makes the whole transaction, awkward.
You're providing a very clearly defined common ground that people can meet you very easily on.
Correct.
And that builds trust quickly. When we think we're the same in a lot of ways, I instantly have trust because most of us trust ourselves.
Right.
So if I can meet you on that common ground and I have trust, like it just makes sense that I'm going to use you to help me make this transaction
Just be
happen.
genuine.
How much do you, how much help do you have? How much do you delegate to other people to do for you? Like, what are you doing and then what are other people doing for you?
Right now, solo. Right now, it's all solo. It's been really, really crazy. I don't suggest that whatsoever. That's why I'm trying to get everything together. I'm trying to get a whole team together. It takes time to get all that stuff. Now, prior, I had my man Dylan help me a lot, with my transactions, especially when I was obviously in the Peak program. But after I left the Peak program, me and Dylan had an arrangement that we did, and he was kind of like my coordinator at the time. So he helped me a lot with stuff like that. But it was mostly a one-man show. It was hard. It was insane. I feel like in this business, you have to have a very good structure and have a good workflow, a good plan. But in this business, you learn as you go. It's all about what you spend what you get. You don't want to spend money if you're not making money. You know what I mean? So right now, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to put all those little pieces in together. So this year, I'm hoping to be able to create my own team, create my whole crew. So I'm literally picking the ones that I want. I'm picking the people that I need for them to do. So, but this is also a very good learning experience for me too because I've learned a lot. I think right now I have close to, I don't know, I think I have like 6 closings in March already. It's a lot. We got a lot cooking right now. So
There's a lot to be said for just real gritty work ethic. And I think that's what we're seeing here.
I'm hungry.
and it's exhausting. And when we're able, that work ethic will take you here. It was really hard to stay here without systems and without team and leverage. And I know that we've had that conversation, and I know he's talking with Dylan and me and Jackie about that. And I think you're going to do some big things, man. We're going to see this man on stage one day. It's going to be crazy. Appreciate you. I know we're over time. Let's give him a hand. Thank you so much.